someone like Rogue. That'd just be so damn cool. Well, it seems like we're going to start off on a very spicy note in game one, so let's make these intros short. In the bottom left side, we look at the main base of the Mexican Terran player that's living in South Korea. It is SpeCial.
And our French Terran in the top right-hand side from Team Liquid, it is Clem.
TVT is a really funny matchup because sometimes, like, the first Terran that jumps to mind is Soul. I see them play TVT, and it's just like 4.5 minutes into the game, and the Reaper has seen like barely the bottom of the ramp, even on a map like I Have a Dream. And I'm like, don't you guys like? Are you guys not worried about anything? And it's like, oh no, gas first is super safe. And it's like, what? This doesn't make any sense to me. Clem does strike me as someone that does check around at least a little bit. I gotta say, I wasn't even really thinking about SpeCial being the one proxying here in game one. So this is definitely catching me by surprise. Fortunately for us, it's just a single barracks for now, so this shouldn't be too devastating. And Wadi, I just want to see some proper StarCraft, okay? Like, I don't mind a short best of 3 here and there, but this is becoming too much.
Yeah, it really is. We want something a bit longer, right? We want this 1 hour epic best of 3 series. So you're right. The good news is this is just a single barracks. The interesting thing for me is that how often do you see a single Rax proxy in TVT? Not so often. I mean, usually that's followed up by like a factory and then you start building add-ons, but to me, it's almost like too close to do that. So yeah, factory does go down at home. That's not surprising based on the position, but a single Reaper proxy just doesn't do all that much.
Probably, but he's hoping for the 2 Reaper snowball, I think, right? Like the 1 Reaper is going to fight the 1 Reaper. There's an SCV here as well. Clem not paying attention, but at least it will live. But now it's already going to become a little bit awkward, and things will get really exciting when the 2nd Reaper shows up. Can he slow down the factory? The Reaper really wants to get the final shot off. This is big for Clem, right? That factory finishing up without it being delayed. That's awesome.
He's going to send his Reaper all the way across the map, by the way. So he's going to get into this main, and he's going to put some pressure on of his own. And SpeCial has to respond to that. He's going to bring his own Reaper back. So this is fun because Clem now is going to try and deal some damage. He sees a command center he could delay, but he also realizes there's a Reaper coming home.
Yeah.
Good play from Clem to be responsible and not get ahead of himself and try and get too much.
Oh
my god,
that's
Reaper
sick.
dodges.
Oh my god, I'm watching SpeCial's vision. That is ridiculous. Can we just name that Reaper Ronaldo or something? Like the way that he sneaked in between those Reapers of SpeCial, that's awesome. Very well done. SpeCial getting a bit unfortunate there, of course, because he sent this Reaper a little bit too far towards the north, but that was funny.
Well, this is going to be a fairly even fight now, I say, as there's actually no Hellion from SpeCial. I thought he was building one. He actually went straight to the Cyclone, so for a moment or two, and will slow down this command center, giving him a little bit of chance to catch up, but now he's actually going to get both the Reapers, but then the Cyclone is here, so he loses 1 Reaper. The Hellion just about gets away. And Clem will back off for the moment, but that CC is still not building. He loses the Hellion as well, but those are the early game units that are pretty much kind of, passing their expiry date soon anyway, as he saves this SCV as well. Clem, all the little things, and now he uses it to build a 3rd gas.
Yeah, the SCV building, the factory barely lives, factory finishes up, and then SpeCial does something pretty funny. Lands his barracks in the natural off. Clem, but then doesn't even get that one SCV. The Cyclone does get vision here because of this barrack, so that's actually kind of cool. But now SpeCial needs to be really careful because there's obviously a Cyclone on the side of Clem as well. I'm with you. I think a lot of little things going Clem's way here, but at least we still have a game on our hands.
And SpeCial with the double factory is now going to go Magfield. He is going to lose the racks, I think, maybe before he can make too much use of it. Obviously, the big thing about keeping the racks alive is you get to keep the vision, so the Cyclone lock-ons can kind of do a bit more without having to scan. And right now, the distraction is good for him to get an extra SCV. He actually gets a double lock-on onto Clem's Cyclone here. So Clem gets pushed up the ramp, but there's that Rax coming into play. But it is Cyclone for Cyclone, and now he gets another Cyclone.
Yep, getting some blocks as well. The Reaper just needs 1 more hit. That was really well done by Clem, bringing out some Warcraft 3 micro there, using the Hellion to block that Cyclone. There's 1 more Cyclone in the center that was actually on move command, so that too is going to take some damage. Yeah, I'm definitely not feeling this with SpeCial, because if you're investing in this build, you want your Cyclone count to snowball. Another Cyclone is going to take a beating here. Can he at least get the Cyclone of Clem? The answer is no. Now a Banshee shows up as well that has made its way to the other side of the map. I feel like SpeCial's in some serious trouble already.
Banshee into the mineral line. Clem is going to lose this Cyclone in the front, though. But the Banshee in the main, how much can it do? It gets 3-4 workers already. The only thing I'd say is I would have liked him to maybe slow down the third. That's building on position. Because he could have done that. Instead, he got a bit greedy, but 7 SCVs. That is a good set of kills in the main.
Yep, just having one Reaper there, I just sniped that SCV so that command center isn't being completed. Or even one of those Marines just walking over there and at least sniping that SCV. But yeah, I still think that this is very good for Clem, because SpeCial has now already lost 3 Cyclones, I believe, indeed, before Macfield Accelerator is even done. And you can't be too happy with that, because Cyclones are pretty damn expensive.
Yep, as you see, the Marine's actually going to show up. That might actually get the delay on this command center, by the way. So if he target fires the SCV right away, it's going to be close to finishing, but not quite.
Oh, come on.
Delay from Clem. Little things, right? All going Clem's way this time around.
Yep. Obviously, Clem did scout it earlier, so he knew it was there, but this is still very well done. Interesting to see where SpeCial is positioning his Cyclones, right? He's almost like really expecting a medevac to already fly towards the other side of the map. Let's not forget what I mentioned in the first series. Clem always opens medevac, but that's obviously if games go normal, and this has not really been a normal game. So these Cyclones are looking for something that they will never find.
Yeah, and there's nothing much to be done. Obviously, the Cyclones as well, they kind of do wear off over time, right? And I feel having lost so many early, and now not really being in a position where they can do all that much harassing, it makes me feel like these few units just don't add that much later in the game either. So a little worried about them. And obviously now SpeCial's starting to build up his siege tank count, so he's going to get to a more useful army. But yeah, definitely a big concern. The big thing is as well that Clem's just being very safe about his third base. So there's no chance for these Cyclones to just get that like 4 Cyclone lock on and actually like steal a kill or something. So yeah, they might get a lock on, but tanks here, Ravens here, there's so much defense you can put into play if needed.
Yep, and SCVs are here as well to repair this command center if needed. I'd like to see him start repairing it soon. Yeah, that's something that popped up quite a few times when this build was not really well known yet in PvP, right? We're like, oh my god, like Cyclones out of nowhere, they snipe the third, and all of a sudden it's super good for the Cyclone player. Clem is going to find those 2 Cyclones in the center. There is a Widow Mine as well. Retargets the mine. Oh, it retargeted again or something. I don't know what happened there.
Clem split the Marine away that he retargeted. Nice.
Sick.
Ooh. This time he does take the mine shot though, and that's obviously what SpeCial was looking for initially. A couple units still at home defending those 2 Cyclones as Clem is going to show up a 12 army supply lead. Well, obviously always difficult to push into a mech player's position, but he's only got 1 tank, and just the lack of tank production earlier definitely hurting. Like this Matrix on one of these Liberators to maybe keep enough Marines alive. And he gets the tank on the high ground. That'll just do it.
Wow.
Oh, deadly. Yet again.
Yep. Obviously a somewhat fortunate game for Clem, where a lot of these one-hit scenarios all went in his way. But Clem did display some beautiful micro early on. I love the blocking with the Hellion, because Cyclones are terrifying. If you barely have any units and all of a sudden there are 5-6 Cyclones very early on, then you can even start scanning, because that's basically minus 4 or 5 units immediately each and every single time you scan. But Clem didn't let that happen. He picked off 3 Cyclones before Macfield was even done. And I mean, there was excitement, Wadi, but it's another 8-minute game today. Jeez Louise. We were joking a little bit in the break.
I know.
Where this is the equivalent of being a football commentator and commentating 3 0-0s in a row. That's still kind of what this all feels like, Wadi.
Yeah, not a lot really happening, huh? I mean, there are moments of excitement, though, right? Like, I definitely think this game was very cool. I think it was maybe one of the cooler games that Clem and SpeCial played against each other, right? Because it was a bit back and forth. It did feel like there was some hope on either side. The problem is Clem is just so good when he gets that opportunity just to close the game out and just be like, right, this is it right here, right now. Boom, let's go. He's really good at it, and it makes him really scary to play against.
Wouldn't it be nice if we could just end the day on a wrong Calaris prediction? Otherwise, he's gonna bring this up all the time. He's like, I got all 5 best of 3s and even the map score correctly. So, you know what? For James just to be ultra wrong, maybe a 2-0 is what I'm okay with.
Yeah, I would be kind of happy with that as well. That's the only reason. just to make sure Kilaris is at least slightly off for once. Because you're right, we'll never hear the end of it. We'll be casting Katowice 2027. Kilaris will be like, that one time, remember, guys? You know, I got the predictions all correct. And we're like, James, you're not even hosting the show anymore. Why are you still showing up here? Like,
it's like, James, I know that PUBG Ultra Mobile is taking off right now, but he's walking around with like 3D glasses on. He's like, you guys remember the prediction? And he goes back in his PUBG Battleground. And we're like, James, nobody needs to hear this. No, I'd be okay either way. Obviously, we'd love to see a Game 3, and we still hope for some epic macro games. It's so funny because I feel like in all the previous DreamHack broadcast days I was on, it was like, these days are not normal. I'm getting like treated here with an ridiculous amount of epic games, like multiple 25, 30-minute games, all action-packed, back and forth, no idea who's winning. And it feels that today is like a reality check where it's like, Roddy, you don't always get lucky with the games you cast. And I guess that's the way it is, Roddy.
Yeah, no, sometimes it be like that, Roddy. You know, I didn't get a cast a game in this for like 2 weeks. I come in, it's like, hey, Woody, you want a 2-hour-long day? It's like, oh, okay then.
Back to hosting, mate. Like, you're just a lucky charm when you're hosting.
Oh, okay. The top right-hand side, gentlemen, live on the line from Exxon. This is SpeCial.
Funny first depot placement. In the bottom left side, we're looking at the main base of the young French Terran player. A lot of people would love to see him in the playoffs to see what he's made of when he goes up against the biggest names of Korea. It is Liquid's Clem.
Yeah, that depot is a bit interesting. Sometimes you see that depot when they want to proxy racks because they don't have a wall anyway, and they're like, okay, well, you know what? If I depot here, I obviously save the SCV a bit of mine time. It really powers up my proxy. And I guess it's the same sort of logic now where he just doesn't want to wall off initially. So he says, right, well, why build the depot further away? Because it's just going to be SCV mining time lost.
So in the pregame, you mentioned that you think this is a somewhat decent map as well for mech. Like, I feel like I've seen a lot of mech games in TVZ on this map. I'd almost even say it's the best mech map for TVZ, right? And you feel like the same holds up in TVT?
The only issue with TVT and mech in this map is the drop play into the main. I think is a little bit better. But obviously, if you just like put the turrets up, then yeah, I think so, because you can just get 4 bases in this like mega chokes. Like, how do you ever fight into the tanks? So like really low tank counts on the 3rd and 4th just hold, and then you can push up to a 5th base pretty easily, and you don't really extend yourself forward at all. So you're still like set back, defending people, pushing down ramps. So yeah, I think it's still pretty good for mech. Obviously, mech's not seen a lot in TVT. If you get a couple players that do like to play it, I still think Eternal and Ice and Chrome kind of stand out as the maps to play on.
Yeah. SpeCial once again going for that command center on the low ground without SCV scouting. So he's not too worried about Clem doing something very wild. Of course, SpeCial's tournament live is on the line right now, but you know, for Clem this is still an incredibly important map, because we saw it in the previous series. TVT can be brutal. That's alright, that game gets decided by what feels like even half a second at one point. So having a 1-0 lead is awesome, but you know that it can be gone real quick. But SpeCial doesn't seem to be too concerned about taking a little risk here and there.
Yep, for sure. I mean, I think in TVT you kind of got to as well sometimes. You can't be just like ultra predictable and ultra safe every time. So yeah, I don't mind this so much. And maybe as part of just the build he has planned on this map as well, is he builds the starport onto the tech lab. Usually when that happens, you're like, you know, almost talking about like a Cloak Banshee, like a super fast Cloak Banshee play. You know, usually if it's a Raven, you just kind of swap it over to the tech lab when the starport finishes. But yeah, that's a very fast tech lab starport.
You know, that final fight in the previous game happened so quick that we didn't even really have time to speak of everything, and obviously Clem already secured a lead. But I did really love how he dropped one interference matrix on the tank, then the other one on the Liberator, and then the, like, because he didn't have much anti-air, right? He had like 4 or 5 Marines, but those were the 4 Marines that started fighting that one Liberator that wasn't totally set up yet. He really couldn't have done that any better than he did. Like, yeah, we expect that from somebody like Clem, but that was still pretty cool to see.
Yeah, if he doesn't take that Liberator down and the interference matrix, I think he actually just loses his army too quickly, maybe, to even and you know, to push through and end the game. So it was a real game-changing moment. It was, and that's such a weird thing to have Liberators out that early defensively. Yeah. So it's like a real, like, in the moment, you've got to decide to do that, and it was the correct call. You're right. It was It's just, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, Clem is just deadly. He knows what he needs to do to win, and he will not hesitate a split second when he sees the chance.
Both players have definitely been in the dark so far. If you take a look at SpeCial's vision, he really hasn't seen anything other than a little bit on his side of the map. Clem is going back to his roots, and there is always open. So it's going to be a quick tank, 2 Reapers, 2 Hellions. And it is important for SpeCial that these units are in the right position, because these openings can be deadly as well. That Reaper is going to give SpeCial the small heads up that this is coming, but he doesn't necessarily know there's a Hellion out of position as well. And every unit matters here.
Oh, that tank's gonna get sieged. Auto turret is big. He target fires the Cyclone with the siege tank, so it goes down quick, but I'm afraid that auto turret's just had a chance to do too much. Nice grenade, pops a lot of stuff into the sky. Clem just traded out units, which I don't think is all that bad for him. He's even going to keep on trading out here. He's got a medevac, so it's going to be disgusting. Micro.
Oh my god.
No, stop. Oh my god.
That is ridiculous. His units had like no HP. He's playing this, well, this is on US Central, so this is the better server for Clem. And I think you can really see that they're pulling up some sick moves. That Cyclone goes very far forward, does take down the medevac. And now there is a Cyclone on the side of Clem as well. At least the auto turret is pushing out a lot of damage, so I guess SpeCial will be fine. I mean, that looked dicey, but SpeCial didn't lose SCVs, and I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, it was just an army trade out, right? So I think that does turn out to be okay in the end. And as you see, SpeCial, by the way, he is going to add an extra Rax on already, so we are going to get to see a little bit of bio, and this, Roddy, might be our kind of longer marine tank game.
We survived a pretty scary phase already. I love that Clem saved this Cyclone, by the way, on 1 HP. It's being repaired right now at home, but it was exactly at 1 HP. Yeah. I like to think that that was calculated, but we might be giving him a little too much credit.
Like, he hard dove to try and get the Raven kill, right? Like, he was going deep, and the auto turret was there. Yeah, I think calculated might be a bit of a push.
Cyclone and 3 Ravens are moving out for SpeCial, and obviously 3 Ravens can definitely mess things up a little bit, because we often see like one auto turret being dropped, pushing all the SCVs in a certain angle. Scan goes down, so SpeCial knows that his army is heading towards his way, and we are going to see the auto turret harass. And I think if SpeCial can get like 7-8 SCVs here, that'd be big. Or is he going for Stim?
Yeah, maybe just all the add-ons really, but Marines are showing up, and he actually lost a Raven already as well, so now these auto turrets look a bit silly, right? Because they didn't really do anything.
I thought if you send 3 Ravens in and you drop all the auto turrets in one place, maybe you take out the tech lab. And obviously preventing Clem from getting stimmed this early is very nice, but yeah, that didn't really work out for SpeCial.
Nope, not in the slightest. SpeCial has his 3rd CC up just that little bit faster than Clem. Clem is going to get his in position now. That's actually behind like 7 SCVs though, so it would have been really bad if he had ended up losing like a chunk of SCVs to those Ravens.
Yeah. SpeCial is always the one who's going up to 3 bases a bit quicker, and at least this time he did build it in his main base, but that seems to be a trend. Obviously, SpeCial is already the one with the slightly more economic opening, right? CC low ground before factory, and Clem always deciding to build that factory before he expands.
SpeCial's really late on the extra kind of bio upgrades, though. You know, just now started Stim. This push can become very dangerous, right? Clem has the Ravens to nullify tanks. If he takes a fight with Stim and combat shields and 1-1 against none of those upgrades, it's not even a competition.
Nope. So the tank positioning really needs to be on point. At least SpeCial sending out a spotter marine that's going to reveal the army of Clem in the center of the map. That's really important. We saw how bad it is. But now Clem immediately takes a different route. Throws down the scan. There is a sensor tower. But Clem, I feel like he's not really respecting this army yet. 4 tanks, 2 Ravens. I believe slightly more energy on the side of Clem. Waddy, this is a big moment.
Yeah, he only gets 1 auto turret and Matrix down. As we do see Clem, he at least gets sieged in position to stay on the 3rd base, right? And in fact, he's going to get that tank. Oh, he maybe had a bit too much damage there, though. I feel like he didn't need to go that deep. As we're going to be seeing him still, though, on top of the 3rd. The SCVs are going to pull. Oh my god, that's a lot of damage. And the 3rd is no longer mining. The auto turrets come in, and he's going to drop a, sorry, not auto turrets, but interference matrices as he moves forward with the tanks. And he's just going to keep on cleaning up at the moment.
Yep, more SCVs are falling during all of this as well. At least the Vikings will land for SpeCial. So SpeCial is not going to lose the game here, but now more bio units show up as well, and he is not done just yet. There's 1 tank to maybe save the day, but Clem is trying to split up his bio units a little bit, and these are phenomenal trades for Clem, who's even picking up a couple of Marauders. Waddy, just like that, another 9-minute game is gonna do it